Chief Martineau, welcome to North Central Journal. We want to talk about the recently released annual report for 2018 and the reduction specific to the reduction in crime rates around the city.
Sure. These annual reports, they're a snapshot in time. We do it every year. We submit data to the FBI for comparison. It's UCR Part 1 crimes, your most violent crimes that happen across the nation. We submit that data to the FBI and we track criminal activity. For the last 5 years, we've been seeing significant reductions. I've been a police officer in the city for 32 years. I've seen its highs, I've seen its lows, and I can say with all honesty sitting here today, where we are today is the best spot we've been in many years. Now, we're not perfect, and I would never, ever minimize what happened this past weekend, because once again, as I said, unfortunately someone lost their life, and that is unacceptable. But we're moving in the right direction. This city is definitely moving in the right direction, and when you review my annual report, it's not just violent crimes. We're seeing reductions across the board in property crimes. We're seeing reductions in arrests. We're seeing reductions in complaints against police officers. They're all positive trends that are coming out of this annual report. But what people need to keep in mind is this is a snapshot. This is what happened in 2018. Now we're dealing with 2019. And as I said, I need to remain cautious, optimistically cautious on this, and continue to provide the best type of police services as I can to the city.
As you look at these statistics from the 2018 annual report, all very positive trends, is there an area or two that you would like to see even more improvement in? I'm sure across the board everything, but is there a specific area or two?
The one area that I'm most focused on, and it's not in this annual report, is perception. Many people have this perception of Fitchburg, and having a weekend like we just had doesn't help with that perception. But the perception of a city is probably the most important thing to me, because I know where the crime trends are going. They're historically going down. But now I need to focus on how we police and how the people perceive our police department in the community. One of the things that I instituted in the early part of my tenure as chief was a community engagement unit, and that's spelled out in my annual report, the way we're policing our community. I think that's extremely important for the viewers to understand that we changed the way that we police our community. No longer are we just an occupying force within the city. We want to be seen as partners in the community, and to build those partnerships you have to have trust and relationships, which I think we've really gathered here. One of the things I like to outline in this annual report is these statistics, these numbers are not possible without the people that we serve. I only have 80 police officers. It's impossible for 80 police officers to provide that type of service to 45,000 people. We couldn't do this without the people themselves. People trust us, they work with us. And as we're talking about coming off the heels of a violent weekend, now more so than ever, I need those people. I need that, I refer to them as the 12th man. I need the 12th man to come up, step up, call the police department. If you have any information on the violent acts this weekend, please be part of it. Be part of the team. Help us solve this issue.
Technology, in our industry, of course, we see it changing constantly. How does technology come to play in in your report for 2018 and then the reduction in crime?
Technology has played a significant role. In fact, it's continuing playing a role in the most recent events we've seen this weekend. You can't go anywhere in the city where there's not some type of piece of technology. Every home may have a camera on it. Every business has a camera. The technology that we utilize within law enforcement on investigations, more so than ever, we rely on technology, and it is, I would say that plays a big part, especially in your property crimes, because with that technology, thieves know that their actions could be caught on camera. Everybody has a cell phone, so everybody has access to cameras or some type of recording device. So when technology sometimes is bad, we see some good in it when it comes to reduction in crime and assisting law enforcement and making communities safer.
You've already spoken very highly of the men and women of the Fitchburg Police Department, but I want to give you an opportunity here to tell the folks how important the passion of your department is, and the individuals who are on the streets every day keeping the community safe. What can you say about your department and your men and women?
It takes a special person to don this uniform and put on a badge and go to work each day in an unselfish manner to work and serve for the people of the city of Fitchburg. I've been a police officer, as I stated, for 32 years. I have so much pride when I put on this uniform each and every day, and that's reflective from the very junior police officer in the department all the way, unfortunately now I'm the most senior person in the police department. That pride is carried to work each and every day. You know, it's a pleasure and it's an honor to serve the men and to serve the city of Fitchburg. And we've done some fabulous work in the last decade, recruiting some highly successful and just top quality candidates as police officers. And I couldn't be prouder of the work that the men and women do each and every day. And you know, and one other point I'd like to just make about our police department, I think it's very important. We always talk about how rich of a community we are because of the diversity of our community. And I stand strongly behind that. Fitchburg is a very diverse community, but I think it's more important that your police agency reflects the community that it serves. Something that I pride myself on. We've been very effective in recruiting police officers that look like the community that they serve, whether it's African American, whether it's Latino police officers, whether it's Asian police officers. Our department is reflective of the community, and I think that goes a long way when it comes to trust and transparency within the community.
Well, we thank you very much for being with us. Congratulations on the efforts of your department, and we know you've got your hands full going forward, but we're certainly pleased that you were able to speak with us and with the folks to let them know that their community is safe.
Yeah, and before we sign off, and you know, once again, this past weekend we all take to heart. We are not leaving any stone unturned. This was an attack on our community, and I am doing everything in my power to bring some justice and some resolve to those families that were impacted this past weekend. And we will continue to fight for them as we fight for all victims. And Fitchburg is a good place. It's a good place to live, raise, and bring up a family. So the police department is there for them.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
My name is Candice Bancari. I am the Tirana Curatorial Fellow. We are looking at the 84th Regional Exhibition of Art and Craft. It is one of the oldest juried exhibitions in New England. And it's a great opportunity kind of to showcase our region's artists and what they're thinking about and what they're creating. We have a range of themes represented, as you can see, a range of artists represented. The eligibility is really kind of narrowed down to whether you work or live within 30 miles of Fitchburg. So we're really trying to give that opportunity to our direct community of artists and makers. So we have quite a bit of a huge diversity of work, and surprisingly there's some political work, there's a lot of kind of social commentary, there's some fantastical work that is very playful and has a lot to do with mythology or kind of introducing these wild elements to them. So what's really exciting for me as a curator is that it's unlike anything you'll ever curate, right? Because it is very broad in terms of what connections you're making with different artists. You don't have that direct opportunity to talk to all the artists, so you're kind of working on the information that you get from what you see in front of you. So I tried my best to kind of make as much visual connections and also thematic connections to view the artwork in the best light that they could be viewed in. So it's an interesting show collectively and also kind of seeing the pieces individually as well. One of the great things about the regional exhibition is that we pick a different juror every year. So we invite an outside juror who selects all of the work, and my job is to make sense of that selection and put it up in the galleries. This year's juror is Ainel David Guerra from Area Gallery in the South End, Boston. I think he did a great job of his selection. He had over 300 artworks that were submitted and narrowed it down to 107. I think it's really important for artists to have that experience of having their work up in a gallery, of having it juried. So it's a really interesting challenge, not only for me, but also, we get a lot of the same artists that are applying year after year, and they can get that feedback about their work from their community. They can actually see it up in the galleries. And because you're submitting to a regional show and a juried show, you're being seen along people within your community, other artists within your community. So I think that's really important, and it changes every year. Like I said, we have a different juror every year, and people are creating new objects and are interested in different things. So a nice tradition that we do for the regional exhibition is that the first prize winner gets their own solo exhibition that is curated by our director, Nick Capasso. And so Carrie Crane is last year's winner, and her show is also in the galleries simultaneously. And it's a really nice kind of passing of the torch as well, because Carrie did the honors of announcing this year's winner, which is Nathan Bentley from Manchester, New Hampshire, which is just within the 30-mile radius of Fitchburg. And so he, next year, will have his own solo exhibition. And that's always really exciting, because you get to give that opportunity to a regional artist as well. And Carrie was really wonderful to work with. She'll be giving her artist talk on July 21st at 1:30 p.m. We do have an interesting opportunity for artists to speak about their work. We invite a selection of prize winners to talk about their work in front of their work. And so that will be taking place on August 1st at 6 p.m. So we invite you all to come see the show.
Good morning. So my name is Roy Nascimento, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the President and CEO of the North Central Massachusetts Chamber of Commerce. And in my role as President of the Chamber of Commerce, I also serve as the President of Visit North Central Massachusetts, also known as the Johnny Appleseed Trail Association. And it is really my pleasure to welcome you all here this morning for this little ceremony that we're going to be having as we unveil what we are affectionately calling the Big Apple of New England. So a little background, the Big Apple of New England is a permanent addition to this collection, to the collection here at the Visitor Center. And the Johnny Appleseed Visitor Center is, if you're familiar with it, it is not your run-of-the-mill rest stop. It is an incredible visitor center, has an incredible collection. There are 91 apple trees here, including 3 apple trees that come from the original, an original apple tree that Johnny Appleseed actually planted. We have a sculpture in the front of young Johnny Appleseed. We have a collection of memorabilia and historical items from throughout the region inside the visitor center. So it's an incredible center and not your run-of-the-mill rest stop, and something that we're very proud of. The apple that we're unveiling today was installed outside the Visitor Center, and it's really an effort to promote the 27 communities that we call North Central Massachusetts. And there's the obvious connection to our proud history and that icon of American folk hero, Johnny Appleseed. American pioneer and folk hero John Chapman, also known as Johnny Appleseed, was born locally here in Leominster and is the official state folk hero for Massachusetts. But this apple represents so much more than just a connection to Johnny Appleseed. It is also, it's not just a symbol of our past, but it's also a symbol of this region's bright future. A symbol that connects us back to and honors our thriving agricultural sector. It is also a symbol of our region's hospitality and a beacon to travelers from throughout the globe that visit our beautiful region. It is also a symbol of deep and meaningful partnerships that we have here in this region, partnerships among businesses, among our communities, and among our state that are all working for the advancement of the 27 communities here in north central Massachusetts.
This is fun, and I expect to see other things, mayors, as we go along Route 2. I expect to see other things like this, because again, this is the fun part of what we do and brings everybody out here. And thank you all for your support. And it is a beautiful day, and if you want to know where I got my tan, it only goes this far into my hands. It's from attending events like this.
I'm going to be very brief. The partnership between the Chamber and certainly the City of Fitchburg and the North County is no more evident than what we're showing today here at the Visitor Center. They understand the importance of economic development, and that's what we're driving in the City of Fitchburg and the North County region, obviously. So this is just one more example of it. That partnership is stronger than ever and will continue to be. We've made a commitment in the City of Fitchburg to provide as much funding as we can to the organization, and we'll continue to do that.
I worked in whatever business, it's not important, but we went to trade shows, and the owner of the business would always tell people, oh, we're from Apple Valley, and he would bring crates of apples and hand them out to people. And I had no idea what the heck this guy was doing, because this is some 20, 30 years ago. But now I get it. I get the apple theme, and it only took Roy and his crew several years to pound it into my head, but I get it now. I get it. And I noticed the apple trees here and everywhere, and fantastic job. And it is one of those roadside oddities that are going to attract people, and I can't wait to take a picture with the giant apple and all of my friends and family that are here today.
Now, economic development is a regional issue. It's an issue that has to do with collaboration. And if you look around in this crowd, it's a testament to collaboration, and it's collaboration is what makes it work.
It represents, as Roy said, a beacon for travelers on Route 2 coming to our area, but it represents folks coming into an area that I think we all can say we're very blessed, those who live and work here. It's steeped in heritage, history, cultural, civic institutions, too many to name. And there's, I think, I personally love the great outdoors that we have here. And if you look at our logo that's behind me, we try to cover as many bases as possible. I'm sure we left quite a few, but we're really blessed to live in an area. It also represents two other things. It represents having a chamber that believes in tourism. They don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. Roy actually helps park cars at festivals. That's how serious he is about first impression for tourists.
I want to welcome you to the gateway of North Central Mass, and now with a beautiful apple, you're going to have another reason to come and stop by. Our mission here is to promote economic development from the small farm to the big business, to the hotels, to the great places that you can hike, camp, go and visit. There's so much here that you don't have to go east, you can come here. So you just have to stop in, say hi, ask the question, and we will gladly tell you where you can go and what you can do to have fun here in our region.
My name is Craig Antocci, and I'm the new Director of Athletics for Fitchburg Public Schools. I came to Fitchburg about 5 years ago. Prior to that, I was teaching in the Wachusett Regional School District as a physics teacher. I'd been there for about 4 years, and that was my start in education. I came to Fitchburg after meeting Ray Cosenza. I met Ray, interestingly enough, through youth baseball. I was volunteering some time up in the field house trying to help Ray in his first year as baseball coach kind of kickstart things in Fitchburg again. That relationship kind of snowballed or blossomed, as you would say, into a more formal relationship where I helped him as a volunteer assistant in his first year as baseball coach. And then that spring, an opening came in Fitchburg Public Schools because the high school needed a physics teacher.
I discussed it with my wife. Our children are Fitchburg public school students, so she said, you know, Craig, why don't you come home instead of commuting out to Holden every day, and let's make our backyard better. So I applied and was fortunate enough to get the position, and I've been involved ever since. I started as a baseball coach with Ray. I then began coaching football, first with Dan Walker and then with Tom DiGeronimo. But I've been involved in pretty much all facets of the athletic department ever since I came, primarily because of my relationship with Ray Cosenza. I think when the district hired me, I was very clear in the interview process that I was going to bring a whole bunch of energy to the table. I'm young, I'm 38 years old. Like I said previously, my kids are all Fitchburg Public School students. So for me, it's really important. It hits really close to home to give our students in this city all the opportunities that they deserve. I think I come with a fresh set of eyes. I'm very willing to look at a program and commend what's working, but also change what isn't. I'm not beholden to what has been the protocol if it's not working. But that being said, I'm a big believer in if it's not broke, don't fix it. We're going to stay with what is working. I think, number one, it really comes from central office, but I'm going to talk to my direct supervisor, Jeremy Roach here. He's done a great job of highlighting the positives in the school. We have the Red Raider Way. That's really important to the students at Fitchburg High School, that buying into what it means to be from Fitchburg, how we're going to conduct ourselves in public, the expectations that we have for ourselves as not only athletes but students, because we are student athletes. Those are some big positives that I'm really trying to build on here. I want to be a foundational element where any student that comes up to the high school can really build future success upon. If I did my job right, very few people are going to talk about me, but we're going to talk largely about the success of the students of Fitchburg. In an urban district, there are lots of challenges. Funding's always an issue. I will say we have an unbelievable central office staff. Superintendent Jokula has been very supportive since the moment that he brought me on board. I was just down there today. They're willing to hear any request. The big line there is if you don't ask, you'll never know. But with all school districts, really everywhere, and this is not just urban districts, funding's an issue. So we're always going to be looking for outside revenue sources that can come in and enhance our offerings. So I'll really try hard to build relationships with our local business community where they can, again, provide some type of foundational support for our students. And challenges are numerous, though, so everywhere you look, there's going to be some other challenge that crops up. One challenge in an urban school district is always going to be increasing participation rates with some of our more vulnerable or at-risk demographics. You know, one demographic, or I don't know if demographics is the right term, but one group that I'm really keenly eyeing is our females in town, our female athletic program. Honestly, we can do better by them. I have daughters, so for me, I look at them right away and I say, what opportunities are we not providing right now that we can? Other challenges we have a large Latino contingent in town. The demographics of the whole city are changing. So how can we better serve that population, given that I'm a native English speaker, and yet we have so many English as second language residents in the city? How do we support that? So these are some big challenges that I think we want to kind of address going forward. Right. I think we live in a modern age. You know, 20 years ago, the newspaper was important. People would pick up the newspaper, and that's where they would read about what was going on at the high school or the various activities that the students were participating in. You know, it was very easy to put an ad in the paper and say, we're having a camp this day, please participate. Things have changed. People live in a digital realm. And, you know, our young kids are digital natives. That's where they grew up. I mean, that's the land they're comfortable in. So we need to be really flexible, or I should say need to be really flexible from my office and find ways to meet people in that social space where they feel comfortable interacting with me and I feel comfortable interacting with them, where I can get the important information to them at that kind of singular point of contact. You know, that's something that we probably need to do better right now. If we're better at that right now, we're going to see dividends, you know, in the near future. you know, the upcoming fall season, I'd really like to see the football team take a step forward. Coach DiGeronimo has done an excellent job since he's taken over. The kids have paid in sweat and tears for years now working towards this. I think that this season upcoming, the community can really get behind this product that's going on the field. Our student athletes are second to none. We've got some absolutely fantastic kids. Overall, I would like people to look at our school and our athletic program and really kind of start to use this term that Superintendent Jokela has put out there, but I totally agree with it. We're one of the best urban districts in the state, and our athletic department should really start to embody that. And I think going forward, you know, in this upcoming season, you're going to see teams that are put on the field that embody that. Maybe not in the wins and loss column right away, but definitely an attitude, approach, and how we represent the city and ourselves on the field.
So last question,
Shoot.
Who's going to win the Thanksgiving game?
Oh man, if I said anyone other than Fitchburg, I'd be crazy, right? I think it's a fantastic storyline this year because we have Devin Gates, a Fitchburg High alum, who's actually going to be walking the sidelines for the Blue Devils. It's fantastic. It's going to be on Crocker Field. It's a great time to come down and support our student athletes. Whether you see it on FATV, which has been, you guys have been amazing at putting those broadcasts out there, or you come down to Crocker and you get that experience, I think that we're going to make the city of Fitchburg and our alum very, very proud this year with the product that we're putting on the field there. Please go as often as you can to www.fitchburgathletics.com. That's the front page for our athletic department. One of the initiatives that we're undertaking this year is we're trying to get a lot more student content up there. That means articles written by our students, about our students, for our students. So if you're looking for a kind of this window into what's going on at Fitchburg High School or in our athletic department, please visit our website. It's a great place to kind of go see what's going on. You never know, might want to stop down, check out a game.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.